It is great to be back in this riding. Last time we were in Collingwood, raised a little money, and here we are in Alliston opening up a campaign office that I can only envy. It's larger than mine, and so that's great. It's a sign of strength. I want to thank those who made it possible, and I want to thank all of you for coming, and I want this fly to get out. One of the first things to say about Andrea is that she is a remarkable person in her own right. That is, she's a former teacher rooted in this community with very strong convictions, and as you can see, presents herself beautifully. She can speak and talk to people and hold their attention and arouse their feelings, and she's a good listener. So, a good candidate in her own right with a strong family. But she's also part of a phenomenon that we need to notice, which is that our party has more female candidates going into this election than any other party in the country. I look forward to having her in the House of Commons. I look forward to having Judith Moses down the road in the House of Commons, and other female candidates across the country. And this is a winnable riding. You're absolutely right. It's winnable because of her positive virtues, but it's also winnable because you have a very weak incumbent member of Parliament. I don't get personal, I don't take the low road, but I have to tell you, she is, I think it's fair to say, an embarrassment to her own government. That is to say, she's someone who is taken off key files and told to go away. She was involved in consular matters relating to a case in Mexico. She handled it so badly, she was literally taken off and told to go away. This is not a person who inspires confidence in her own government, right? It's not me saying this, it's her own government saying, get Helena out of town. We need to tell that story. We need to say that this is a person who is not really at the level you need to be a minister of the Crown in Government of Canada. It's just not up to it. We need to say that not in a personal way, not a personal attack, but we need to document her record and make the contrast. This is good, this is not so good. That's what you do in politics. Now, I have been traveling across this part of Ontario today to pick up something else that Andrea said. Because the party, the national leadership of the party, attaches great importance to this whole region. When people talk about where are the battlegrounds in Canada that will define and decide the future of the government of Canada, this is one of them. You're in a battleground riding. You're in a place which the whole country will be watching on October the 14th. And all those pollsters are busy phoning around in here because this one is a key riding. This is one that could go from the Conservative to the Liberal camp, provided, there's no magic here, she works like crazy, and she's obviously doing that, she's been working for them, but you work like crazy. This doesn't get done unless you knock those signs into the ground. I don't want any of those signs to be in this room in 2 weeks' time. They're going to be out there on your neighbor's lawns. So that's number one. Number two, you've got to talk to every neighbor you've got. I mean, remember, politics is very simple. You know the famous sentence, all politics is local? It's deeply true. Deeply true. You have to work neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend. Everybody you know say, I know this woman. She's competent, she's capable, she's courageous, she's the kind of person we need in Ottawa. And if you do that, if every one of you get 4, 5, 6, 10 people, spread it out, spread it out. It's all done by this kind of dedicated work. Here in Alliston, in Collingwood, in Creemore, right throughout the riding. So don't just come here to listen to a lot of hot air from me. Commit yourself tonight to work to make Andrea the next Member of Parliament for this riding, okay? That's the deal. people like me, people like Bob Ray, other leaders of the party are coming here because we think this place matters. This is not in the no-hoper column, let's be honest. Some parties have, we all have no-hoper columns. It's not, we're not going to get 28 seats in Alberta, right? I mean, that's what I mean. We're going to be trying, we're going to compete in every riding in the country, but there's some you just can't win. But this is one we can win. That's why I'm here, to say that, to send that message to you. I've looked at the numbers, and I've looked at the candidate. We can do this. And you've got to believe that in here. We're not here just to make a nice show. We're here to put her in the House of Commons, okay? So let's get real serious. Now we are faced with some lies. We are not going to take away the $1,200 child care benefit. We are not going to do it. We are not going to increase the excise tax on gasoline, okay? These are lies. We are not going to put up the GST by 2 points, okay? 3 lies in 4 days of campaign, right? These people will stop at nothing to deceive your neighbors and friends about what's going on. We have no commitments of that kind. We want to, in fact, increase child benefit for families. We want to create child care spaces, right? Think about this. This is a government that came into office promising they would create child care spaces. There is not a new space created in this riding or any other riding in the country as a result of Conservative policy. They have failed to keep that commitment. They have given people $1,200 before taxes. That is true, and every one of you knows that that is taxed, which brings it down to about $800. Does anybody in this room think for $800 you can get decent child care in this riding? I don't think so. The only way you can get it is if you have publicly funded, publicly licensed, world-class daycare provided in agreements between the province and the federal government. That was what we had ready to roll out when Jack Layton brought the government down in 2006. So we have to tell these stories to the public. If you want world-class child care in this riding, you've got to vote Liberal. There's just no other place you can go. Now, let's talk a little bit about the green shift. We are getting lies told about that policy as well. Andrea's explained it very well to you, but it's very simple. We want to reduce income tax. Reduce tax on the stuff that you want to have more of, namely your income. Reduce taxes, okay? I can't say it enough. Reduce taxes on your income and raise revenue on pollution and carbon. It's a change in the way we raise revenue in Canada. But we are not going to add to the tax burden of Canadians. It would be foolish to do so at a time of economic stress. We are reducing your income tax, transferring the way we raise revenue to pollution, CO2, and carbon producing. And why are we doing that? Here's why. A, because we want to give you more of a break on income tax. And I think what's going to happen in this campaign is going to be very interesting. Harper is also already preparing you for the bad news, which is they have spent themselves so close to deficit, they have no room for a further tax cut. We're going to be in the unusual situation of possibly being the only party out there in the campaign proposing an income tax cut for Canadians, right? Because they've spent themselves up to deficit. The cupboard is bare on that. We've said you've got to raise some revenue. And where do we want to raise revenue? We want to raise it on the stuff that's bad for Canada, and bad for the environment, and bad for the world, namely carbon pollution. Okay.